Severe weather warnings across Queensland, heavy rain moving through central Queensland, tropical cyclone risk developing in the Coral Sea, and southeast Queensland still waiting for decent rainfall. That is the situation we are dealing with right now. I've examined the latest from the Bureau of Meteorology, gone through the model data, and looked at what is happening on the ground across the state. There is quite a bit to cover, so let's get straight into it. Right now, conditions across Queensland couldn't be more varied. And it's worth understanding where we are starting from before we get into what is coming. Up in Mount Carbine, temperatures hit 34 degrees by 10 a.m. this morning with 85% humidity. Minimum overnight was 28 degrees, that extreme heat with no relief even at night. People are reporting it's the hottest conditions they've seen all wet season so far. Darwin had rain since 6 a.m. and it's not slowing down. That monsoonal moisture is well and truly in place across the top end. Townsville copped flash flooding earlier, came through randomly this afternoon, caught people off guard. Roads went under quickly. Some drivers got stranded. Emergency services responded to multiple call-outs. Alpha S been getting heavy rain, bucketing down there as well. The local community Facebook pages are showing flooded properties and waterlogged paddocks. Gumlu had thunderstorms move through this afternoon. Not ideal timing for those trying to get home. Lightning was intense. Heavy downpours reduced visibility to almost nothing. Compare that to southeast Queensland. Brisbane and the surrounding areas have been barren and hot with minimal rain. Yet they still copping the humidity without getting any of the actual rainfall to show for it. Frustrating weather pattern. People are watering gardens constantly, trying to keep lawns alive, dealing with the heat without the relief of a decent storm. Down in the Lockyer Valley around Carbine, conditions have been all over the place. Cool breezes followed by warm, sticky, humid air, then beautiful cool conditions again. That temperature whiplash is affecting a lot of areas. Makes it hard to know what to wear, when to water, what to plan. The pattern we're seeing is classic for this time of year, but it's the contrast that is significant. Widespread rain and storms across central and north Queensland, dry, hot, humid conditions across the southeast. That's about to shift potentially. Let me break down what is driving this weather pattern, because understanding the meteorology helps you prepare properly. We've got a monsoon trough sitting across the northern tropics. That S bringing the moisture and instability we're seeing from the top end right across to North Queensland. The trough is well defined and it is not moving much. That means areas underneath it are going to continue seeing repeated rainfall and thunderstorm activity. When you look at the surface analysis charts, the trough is clearly visible as a line of low pressure extending from the Kimberley region across to the Gulf of Carpentaria and then down towards North Queensland. Along this trough, you get convergence of air masses, rising motion, cloud development and rainfall. Overlaying that, we've got an upper level trough extending down the Queensland coast. When you combine that with the surface moisture and instability, you get significant thunderstorm development. That S what we saw today across central Queensland, and at S not finished yet. The upper level trough provides the dynamics for storm development. It creates areas of rising motion aloft, which helps initiate and sustain thunderstorms. Combined with the surface moisture from the monsoon trough, you've got all the ingredients for severe weather. The jet stream positioning is critical here. It's sitting well to the south, which means we don't have strong steering currents to move these systems quickly. They slow moving, which increases rainfall totals in affected areas. Storms that would normally move through in an hour or two are instead sitting over the same location for 3, 4, 5 hours. That is when you get the really significant rainfall accumulations. Now, the models. I've looked at Access, the European model, and GFS. There is good agreement on the broad pattern, which gives me confidence in the forecast. All three models show the monsoon trough persisting through the weekend. All three show continued thunderstorm activity across central and north Queensland. Where they diverge slightly is on southeast Queensland rainfall timing and amounts. We'll get to that. Access is the Australian Bureau of Meteorology S model. It tends to handle Australian weather patterns well, particularly tropical systems. It S showing the monsoon trough maintaining its position through Sunday, then potentially shifting slightly south early next week. The European model, ECMWF, is generally considered one of the best global models. It S showing a similar pattern but with slightly more rainfall for coastal North Queensland. It is also more aggressive with the tropical cyclone development, which I'll discuss shortly. GFS, the American model, is a bit more conservative. It still shows active weather, but not quite as intense as the other two models. This is useful because it gives us a range of possibilities rather than just one scenario. When models agree, confidence is high. When they disagree, we need to watch developments closely and not lock ourselves into one specific forecast. The Bureau of Meteorology has severe thunderstorm warnings current for parts of central Queensland. These warnings cover areas from the coast inland, and they revalid for damaging winds, large hail, and heavy rainfall leading to flash flooding. If you're in the warning area, take this seriously. We've already seen flash flooding in Townsville. That shows how quickly conditions can deteriorate. Severe thunderstorm warnings are issued when storms are expected to produce one or more of these impacts: damaging winds, large hail, heavy rainfall that may lead to flash flooding or tornadoes. They are short-term warnings, typically valid for a few hours, and they re-updated frequently as conditions change. Let's talk about the tropical cyclone risk because this is getting attention, and rightly so. There's a low-pressure system developing in the Coral Sea. Current analysis shows it disorganized, but it's in an environment that could support tropical cyclone development. Sea surface temperatures are warm enough, currently sitting around 28 to 29 degrees. That's well above the 26-degree threshold needed for cyclone development. Upper level conditions are becoming more favourable. Wind shear, which is the difference in wind speed and direction at different heights in the atmosphere, is expected to decrease over the next few days. Low wind shear is crucial for tropical cyclone development because it allows the storm to organise vertically without being torn apart. The Access model shows this system potentially intensifying to tropical cyclone strength by early next week. The European model is slightly more aggressive, showing development by the weekend. GFS is more conservative, keeping it as a tropical low for longer. Here, what matters. Regardless of whether this becomes a named tropical cyclone or remains a tropical low, it's going to bring significant impacts to North Queensland coastal areas. We're re-looking at heavy rainfall, strong winds, and rough seas. Coastal erosion is a concern. Flooding in low-lying areas is possible. The distinction between a tropical low and a tropical cyclone is somewhat arbitrary. It's based on sustained wind speeds. But the impacts can be significant either way. Heavy rain can cause flooding regardless of whether the system is officially a cyclone or not. For those in far north Queensland, particularly around Cairns, the Daintree and north to Cape York, you need to be monitoring this closely. If you've got plans for Monday or Tuesday next week, keep an eye on the forecast. Conditions could deteriorate quickly. River crossings that are low now could become impassable with heavy rain. The Daintree River, for instance, is known for rapid rises. If this system brings heavy rain to the catchment, that river could go from crossable to several metres over the crossing in a matter of hours. The same applies to the Bloomfield Track and other coastal crossings. The cyclone season is well underway. We're in the peak period. Systems can develop and intensify rapidly in the Coral Sea. You've seen it before. Cyclone Yassi in 2011, Cyclone Larry in 2006. These systems can cause catastrophic damage. This current system deserves attention. Now, severe thunderstorms for the rest of today and tonight across central Queensland. The main threats are damaging wind gusts, large hail and heavy rainfall leading to flash flooding. We've already seen flash flooding in Townsville. That pattern continues tonight. Damaging winds could reach 90 to 100 kilometres per hour in the most severe cells. That is strong enough to bring down trees and power lines. If you're in a severe thunderstorm warning area, secure loose items around your property now. Bring in outdoor furniture, tie down trampolines, check your roof for loose sheets. A trampoline becomes a missile in strong winds. I've seen them end up streets away, through fences, even through house windows. Large hail is possible. We could see hail up to 5 centimetres in diameter in the strongest storms. That's golf ball sized. Enough to damage vehicles, break windows, destroy crops. If a severe storm is approaching, get your car under cover if possible. Even hailstones smaller than that can cause significant damage. Windscreens crack, panels get dented, paintwork gets chipped. Insurance claims spike after severe hail events. Heavy rainfall is the biggest concern for flash flooding. Some areas could see 50 to 100 millimetres in a very short period. That is a massive amount of rain in an hour or two. Roads flood quickly. Creeks and rivers rise rapidly. If it's flooded, forget it. Never drive through floodwater. You can see what underneath, whether the road's washed away, how deep it is, how fast it is flowing. Flash flooding kills more people in Australia than any other weather hazard. It happens quickly, often catches people by surprise, and turns familiar roads into dangerous torrents. Water moving at just 60 kilometres per hour has enough force to move a car. Most passenger vehicles will float in water around 60 centimetres deep. Once floating, you've lost control and you rear at the mercy of the current. The thunderstorms will be most active late this afternoon through tonight. By tomorrow morning, activity should ease across central Queensland as the upper level support shifts. But we are not done with storms. They redevelop tomorrow afternoon and evening, just in different locations. Friday sees the focus shift slightly north. North Queensland gets the main action. Townsville, Cairns, the Atherton tablelands. Same threats: damaging winds, large hail, heavy rain. The Atherton tablelands often cop severe thunderstorms this time of year. The elevated terrain helps trigger storms, and they can be particularly intense. Millar, Malander, Atherton itself. These areas know severe weather well. This pattern of afternoon and evening thunderstorms continues through the weekend across north and central Queensland. It's repetitive, it is tiring, and it's going to deliver significant rainfall totals to some areas. Accumulated rainfall by Monday morning, parts of North Queensland could see 200 to 300 millimetres. Some isolated areas could exceed 400 millimetres if storms keep redeveloping over the same locations. That is a lot of rain. Flooding becomes a major concern. Rivers to watch closely. The Burdekin River is already running high from earlier rain. Additional heavy rainfall in the catchment will push it towards moderate flood levels. The Herbert River similarly is at risk of flooding. The Tully River, being a coastal river with a smaller catchment, responds quickly to heavy rain and could see minor to moderate flooding. The Daintree River, as mentioned, is prone to rapid rises. The Mossman River is another one to watch. Both of these can isolate communities quickly when they flood. For southeast Queensland, there is hope on the horizon, but it's not guaranteed. Late next week, possibly Thursday or Friday, there is potential for a pattern change. A cold front and associated upper trough could move through, bringing showers and storms, but it is too early to be confident in amounts. The models are showing it, but they've been showing hope before and it hasn't materialised. The pattern we've been stuck in has a high pressure system sitting to the south and east. This blocks weather systems from moving up from the south and pushes moisture-laden air north towards central Queensland instead of bringing it to the southeast. That high needs to move for the pattern to change. Current model guidance suggests it might finally shift late next week. If it does, southeast Queensland could see that long-awaited decent rainfall. We are talking possibly 20 to 50 millimetres, maybe more if we get lucky with storm placement. That would be welcome relief after weeks of dry conditions. But don't count on it yet. I've learnt to be cautiously optimistic when it comes to southeast Queensland rainfall forecasts. The number of times promising setups have fallen apart at the last minute is frustrating. So yes, there is potential, but I am not celebrating until I see the rain gauge filling up. For now, southeast Queensland remains in the waiting game. Frustrating, I know, but that is the reality of the current pattern. The tropical cyclone risk remains the main focus for early next week. The Bureau will be updating their tropical cyclone outlook daily. If this system intensifies to cyclone strength, they'll issue cyclone watches and warnings with plenty of lead time. That's your signal to finalise preparations. A cyclone watch means cyclone impacts are possible within 48 hours. A cyclone warning means cyclone impacts are expected within 24 hours. These are your windows to act. But ideally, you are already prepared before watches and warnings are issued. Cyclone categories can be misleading. A Category 1 system sounds minor, but it's not. Category 1 still brings destructive winds up to 125 kilometres per hour. That is enough to damage houses, bring down power lines, destroy crops. Don T judged the threat by the category number alone. Judge it by the impacts it will bring to your specific area. Category 2 brings winds up to 170 kilometres per hour. Category 3 up to 224, Category 4 up to 279. Category 5 is anything above that. But even a Category 1 near the coast brings storm surge, coastal erosion and flooding from heavy rain. If you in a cyclone warning area when one is issued, that means cyclone impacts are expected within 24 hours. That's not a lot of time to prepare if you haven't already done so. That's why preparing now before warnings are issued is critical. Here, what you should be doing right now if you are in North Queensland or coastal areas. Stock up on essentials. Water is the priority. You need at least 3 litres per person per day. If you've got a family of 4, that is 12 litres per day. For 3 days, that is 36 litres, more if it is hot. Have bottled water stored now. Non-perishable food, canned goods, packet meals, crackers, long life milk, cereal. Things that Don T need refrigeration because power might go out. Don T forget a manual can opener. I've seen people with cupboards full of canned food and no way to open them. Medications. If you are on prescription medication, make sure you've got enough. If you are due for a refill soon, get it done now rather than waiting. Pharmacies can be closed for days after severe weather. Batteries and torches. LED torches are good because the batteries last longer. Have spare batteries. A head torch is useful because it frees up your hands. First aid kit, make sure it's stocked. Band-aids, antiseptic, pain relief, bandages. Know how to use what S in there. Important documents, birth certificates, insurance papers, passports, medical records. Keep them in a waterproof container or bag. Take photos of them on your phone as backup and cash. ATMs might not work if power is out. Have some cash on hand. Fuel your vehicle. Keep the tank at least half full. If you need to evacuate or roads are cut, you don't want to be looking for a service station. And after severe weather, fuel can be scarce while infrastructure recovers. Charge devices, phone, laptop, power banks. Communication is critical during severe weather. Fully charge everything now. Charge power banks. If power goes out, you want maximum battery life available. Secure your property. This is huge. Walk around your property with a critical eye. What could become a projectile in strong winds? Outdoor furniture, potted plants, tools, children's toys, wheelie bins. Bring it all inside or secure it properly. Check your roof, any loose sheets, tiles that look like they might lift. Now, the time to fix them, not when winds are already blowing. Clear gutters and drains. Blocked gutters cause water to overflow into your roof cavity. Blocked drains cause water to pool where you don't want it. Clean them out now. Trim overhanging branches. A branch through your roof during a storm is a nightmare. If there are branches hanging over your house, get them trimmed. Yes, it costs money. Yes, it's worth it. Know your risks. Are you in a flood-prone area? Check your council flood maps. Storm surge zone. Coastal areas need to understand storm surge risk. It is not just wind and rain with cyclones. It is the ocean being pushed inland. Have a plan. Where will you shelter during a severe storm? The bathroom or an internal room is usually safest away from windows. If you're in a storm surge zone, do you need to evacuate to higher ground? Know your evacuation route now. Who will you contact? Have a contact outside the affected area who you can check in with. Someone who can let other family know you are okay if local communications are down. If you have pets, have a plan for them too. Secure shelter, food, water, medication. If you evacuate, can you take them with you? Know which evacuation centres accept pets. The Bureau of Meteorology has a warning system that works well, but you need to be plugged into it. Download the Boom Weather app if you haven't already. Enable notifications. This gives you warnings pushed directly to your phone. Check the Bureau's website regularly. The tropical cyclone section has the latest tracking maps, intensity forecasts, and impact predictions. This gets updated multiple times per day when systems are active. Sign up for emergency alert. This is the government system that sends text messages for emergency warnings. It is automatic for some threats, but you can also sign up for additional alerts. Follow your local ABC radio station. During severe weather, ABC Local Radio provides continuous updates. They have direct contact with emergency services, the Bureau and local authorities. It's reliable information when you need it. Local emergency services will have their own social media and warning systems. Follow your local SES, fire service and council pages. They'll provide area-specific information that the broader warnings might not cover. For those in agriculture, you've got additional concerns. Livestock need to be moved to high ground if flooding is possible. Check water supplies for stock. Secure equipment, fuel for generators. Livestock feed in case you can access paddocks for days. Crops are vulnerable to hail, wind damage and flooding. You can protect everything, but damage minimisation is possible. Harvest what's ready if you can. Check insurance coverage. Document your property condition now with photos and video. That helps with insurance claims later. The economic impacts of severe weather extend well beyond the immediate danger. Lost work days, lost tourism income, damaged infrastructure, increased insurance premiums. It all adds up. That's why proper preparation and response is not just about safety, it is about minimising economic damage as well. Tourism operators in North Queensland are already seeing cancellations for early next week. That is understandable but frustrating for businesses. If you're in tourism, communicate proactively with bookings, offer flexibility to reschedule rather than cancel outright. Most people will appreciate it and rebook when conditions improve. Aviation will be affected if the tropical cyclone develops. Cairns Airport could see cancellations and delays. Airlines will be adjusting schedules. If you're reflying to or from North Queensland early next week, monitor your flight status closely. Check with your your airline about their policies for affected flights. Some offer free changes when severe weather warnings are current. Marine industries face lost workdays and dangerous conditions. Commercial fishing operations need to plan accordingly. Charter operators need to communicate with clients. Recreational boaters need to secure vessels properly in marinas. Double-check mooring lines, add extra if needed. The weather pattern we re-in is typical for the wet season, but it's intense and prolonged. The monsoon trough is strong and persistent. That brings benefits in terms of rainfall to drought-affected areas in central and north Queensland, but it also brings the hazards we are discussing. Some properties that were drought-affected months ago are now dealing with too much water. That the nature of Queensland climate. Extreme swing back and forth. Dry to wet, hot to cool, calm to severe. Don't take unnecessary risks. Don't drive through floodwater. I can stress this enough. Every year people die driving through floodwater. Every year people think they'll be fine. Every year people are wrong. Just don't do it. Find another route, wait it out, turn around. Don't ignore severe weather warnings. They reissued for a reason. Take them seriously, act on them appropriately. The Bureau and emergency services don't issue warnings lightly. Don't assume the storm will miss you. People in the path of Cyclone Larry thought it might weaken before landfall. It didn't. People in Townsville during the floods thought it wouldn't get that bad. It did. Hope for the best, prepare for the worst. Don't wait until the last minute to prepare. Once warnings are issued, shops get stripped of supplies. Service stations run out of fuel. Hardware stores run out of batteries and generators. Prepare now while supplies are available and you're not competing with panicked crowds. Do monitor Bureau of Meteorology forecasts and warnings. Do prepare your property and your supplies now. Do check on neighbours, particularly elderly people living alone. Do have a plan for what you'll do if conditions deteriorate. Do trust your instincts. If something doesn't feel safe, it probably isn't. The Bureau of Meteorology does excellent work with the resources they have. Their forecasts and warnings are based on the best available data and models. Trust their guidance. They'll update warnings as conditions change. State emergency service volunteers are incredible people. They respond to calls during the worst weather when everyone else is sheltering. Please only call them for genuine emergencies. If you can safely manage the situation yourself, do so. That frees them up to help those who genuinely need it. 000 is for life-threatening emergencies. SES can be contacted on their hotline for storm damage not life-threatening. Know which number to call for what situation. For those planning outdoor activities this weekend, reconsider if you are in affected areas, camping trips, hiking, fishing. Weather conditions are going to be dangerous at times. It's not worth the risk. There will be other weekends. The bush will still be there when conditions improve. If you are travelling through affected areas, plan your route carefully. Have alternate routes in mind if roads flood. Don't rely solely on GPS. Technology fails. Have paper maps as backup. Know where you are going before you leave. Tell someone where you are going and when you expect to arrive. If something goes wrong, people need to know where to look for you. This is basic safety that gets overlooked too often. Carry emergency supplies in your vehicle. Water, food, blankets, torch, first aid kit, phone charger. If you break down or get stranded, these basics become critical. To summarise the key points for the next week, severe thunderstorms continue across central and north Queensland through the weekend. Main threats are heavy rainfall leading to flash flooding, damaging wind gusts and large hail. Some areas could see accumulated totals of 200 to 300 millimetres by Monday morning. Tropical cyclone risk developing in the Coral Sea for early next week. Potential impacts to North Queensland coast from Cooktown to Townsville, most likely around Cairns. Regardless of whether this becomes a named cyclone, expect heavy rain, strong winds and rough seas. Southeast Queensland stays dry for now with a potential pattern change late next week. Don't count on it yet, but there's hope for meaningful rainfall Thursday or Friday. Rivers to watch include the Burdekin, Herbert, Tully, Daintree and Mossman. Moderate flooding possible on some of these with current rainfall forecasts. This is a serious weather situation for north and central Queensland. Not catastrophic, not unprecedented, but serious enough to require proper preparation and sensible decision making. The weather's going to do what it's going to do. We can control that. What we can control is how well we prepare and how we respond. That makes all the difference between getting through severe weather safely and becoming a statistic. Look after yourselves. Look after your neighbours. Stay informed through official sources. Make smart decisions. And we'll get